Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Galaxy News Podcast. Today is going to be a very, very interesting episode. We are going to get a bit passionate about some things
I
here.
hope it's going to be interesting, Joe.
we we have King Fan Man, my co-host King. How you doing?
I'm doing good, but boy, you set us up to fail right off the bat. This is going to be an interesting episode.
Listen, listen. I feel we were just talking about it. I feel the one thing that we lack sometimes. I feel
It's
we
interesting episodes. That's what.
I I feel we agree. We agree a lot. So today we need a little bit of fire, a little bit of pizzazz, and
Oh,
that's what we're gonna do here. So let's get a rockin' and rolling. And obviously, you can tell by the title what we're talking about. So let's just talk about the subjects at hand. Fallout 76, is it a failure?
correct.
Starfield,
Poke the bear right off the bat. Yeah.
Starfield, what if it doesn't happen? And The Outer Worlds will definitely be coming to the Switch March 6th. Fantastic news, right? But digital only. So,
Ugh.
King, where would you like to start? I'm giving you the reins here. Let's
I
talk
don't
about
like any of those subjects.
that's good. Let's talk about Outer Worlds being digital only. Now, great news. It's coming out on the Switch still with all these delays. You would think that maybe they would cancel the Switch version, you know? Nothing would surprise me now. Nothing at all. And Outer Worlds is coming digital only to the Switch. Does that upset you, King?
Okay, you've hit one of my pet peeves, and it's because I'm old.
Yeah,
Let's just put it out there.
that's
I'm
fair.
old. It's a pet peeve of mine. I like physical copies.
Yeah.
I like to have the physical copies. And if I buy a physical copy, please give me a physical copy. This new trend of buying a physical copy, but yet not getting a physical copy. What is up with that?
Yeah, it's silly. It's
Okay,
absolute silly.
there are some people that say I'm overly nice to Bethesda, and I may be at times. Well, I'm going on record right now with a huge Bethesda rant. Okay,
Oh my gosh.
yes, so y'all can mark this down. I actually bought the Power Armor edition of Fallout 76. The and you got the steel book. I collect steel books, and I wanted the steel book Fallout 76. So I was getting the physical copy, right, of Fallout 76, the steel book. I
Oh
was
yeah,
so
here we
excited.
go.
I opened it up. You know what was inside?
What was inside, King? Please
A
tell us.
dadgum cardboard cutout shape of a CD. It was not a CD. It was a little cardboard cutout of a CD.
Oh jeez.
Now, how much did I pay for this thing?
Oh jeez. Oh
How
jeez.
many hundreds of dollars did I pay for this
Yeah,
thing? And they give
yeah.
me a
They
piece
give
of cardboard. Thank you, Todd.
you. Of course, blame Todd.
Well,
Blame
I
blame
kept the
Toddy.
cardboard. I still have the cardboard. So if I ever
You
see
really
somebody
still
from
have the cardboard?
Bethesda, yes, I'm gonna throw it at them.
Oh my gosh.
I want my CD.
Yeah. Listen, I get it. I totally get it. Now, I get both sides. I do. I get both sides. I'm on the same side as you, King. I like my physical copies. There are games that I do have the digital copies for only, and it's because I game share with a friend of mine on Xbox, and that's why. But I'm a huge fan of the physical copies. I view it as they're collector's items, you know, they're
Yeah,
keepsakes.
absolutely.
I would love someday to have my own office and have bookshelves and have all of my game cases on the bookshelves. I think that would be fantastic. That's a great idea. But with the direction that we're moving with this, we might they already came out with a digital only console. Is that the are we in 10 years, will that be the direction that we're going in? Will that be it?
Well, that's the way companies want to go because it's cheaper on the companies. Let's face
Yeah,
it.
of course it's cheaper. But listen, you're charging so much money for a CD. Let's face it, a little CD. You're charging so much money. The couple bucks that it costs you to make a plastic container, and okay, you want to be, you know, be good for the environment. Well, to be honest with you, you're making the stupid container anyway for the outer worlds, and there's nothing in it. Like, what's the point? So you can't tell me you're trying to save the environment when you're
I was about
not.
to say it's going to be better for the environment because if there's not a CD in it, those little plastic cases are going to go in the trash. If there's a CD in it, people are going to keep it.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh
yeah.
huh.
I,
Yeah.
you know,
King has a point there.
yeah. It's not. It's. I'm not in favor of it. Not at all. And I don't see why can't Obsidian just release like every other game. You could go buy a digital code and you don't have the box. The box isn't there. It's just the digital code. It's almost like they set themselves up to be laughed at a little bit. Why are you releasing now? King, he can only see this. A card, a case.
Yes, I can see.
Why release the case with the digital code in there? Just release a little piece of cardboard
The card, yeah.
with the code. That's everybody's doing it. And if you want to sell it at GameStop, just do that. Why?
I'm guessing it's advertising. I guess it's salesmanship. I guess it's what
Whatever.
it is because people are used to seeing the box.
Yeah, but there's nothing in there. People are used to seeing something inside too, and will there be? No.
I guess we're in that transition period. Maybe
It's
that's what it is.
outrageous.
I know it.
I hope it doesn't. I hope the going to GameStop midnight releases, King, used to be such a big deal. Now you could go buy the games on your Xbox. You don't have to go or your PS4 or the PC. You don't have to go to GameStop, stand in line.
That's what I was about to say. Our game store is even going by the wayside now.
100%. Now, years when
And that's sad because I love going to the game store. I love,
sometimes I go to GameStop and I don't even buy anything.
yeah, just to talk to the guys down there and hang out.
It's
Absolutely.
just look what they have. That's all I do. I don't even buy most of the time. You could ask my wife. I don't buy anything most of the time. It's just I like going in there. I like seeing what they have. It's cool. I have a retro game store right by me. I don't know if you have one, King, but it's fantastic.
I do too.
It's great. It's fantastic. PS2,
Yes.
PlayStation 1, N64.
We have an awesome one here called Doubleheader that we go
Nice.
all the time.
Nice,
Yeah,
and it's great. But I mean, those kinds of stores will always be around. But will GameStop be around?
y'all want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
I've always had this little dream of having one of those little stores.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, why not?
The queen says I'm crazy though.
You might
She
be.
says-
You
She
might
says
be a
she
little
would wind
crazy.
up running it while I
It's-
did all
it's-
my YouTube.
She
and
might be.
everything else.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too.
And I said, "What's wrong with that?"
The thing is, with these game stores, they seem a bit sketchy. They're the owner of the game store by me. He he has a bunch of stuffed animal, like Pokemon characters. And a friend of mine said, "Hey guy, where do you buy these from?" He declined to tell us. So we're like, does he get these illegally? He goes, "I have a guy," and he just doesn't want to say. We're like, okay, what are you talking about? You have a guy. Do you go to the store and buy them and sell them for more? Or do you really have a guy? How sketchy is this business? Now, it's weird because when I was a kid, I played a bunch of sports games. That's literally all I played. And a lot of my games are at my parents' house right now, so I don't have access. I live an hour away now, so I don't have access to all my old games. So I'll go there, and he scoffs at the idea of sports games. So he sells his sports games, no matter what games they are. He'll sell them to you for $1, and that's
Yeah.
$1. Great. So
It's because they come out every year, I guess.
yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
looking, but the retro games like MVP Baseball 2005, that's the last version of the series. Well, I
Yeah.
lied. MVP '07 was, but that was a college game.
The college ones, yeah.
Yeah, MVP '05, arguably the best baseball game of all time. And those are the kinds of games that he sells. So I go in there, and for the longest time, I couldn't find MVP '05 in there. I couldn't find it. So I was like, you know what? The next time I'm home at my parents' house, I'm just going to go up in the attic and get my MVP '05. So I did. So now I have it. It's great. Fantastic, right?
Yeah.
Well, then a few weeks after that, I go in there, and MVP '05 is right in the doohickey. It's right in the container of his PS2, Xbox sports games. Where is he getting his games from? MVP '05 on Amazon's like $50.
From your mom.
Oh no, Mommy, what are you doing dealing with this guy? Making money off my stuff? But man, we just went on a completely different subject. The point
By
is,
the way,
is
if y'all want to
this.
talk more about retro games,
Yeah.
go over to my channel because we're gonna have a podcast
Yeah,
on it.
amen, brother. The thing is this: when it comes down to, in about 300 years, 300, listen to what I said. 300 years,
In the year
seriously,
2525.
there might be a time when stores like that won't exist because of this digital only garbage. And I understand that might be the way we're going, and that is the way we're going. Like I said, there is a console now, it's a digital only console.
Yep.
Wow. What the heck? Why? So it's the way we're going. It's sad. It stinks. Outer Worlds, digital only. Is it a big deal? Yeah, a little bit. I don't condone it. But the thing is, with the Nintendo Switch, if anything, that's the console to be digital only for. I will say that because it is a portable console. It's portable. You could take it anywhere.
Plus
And
portable R plug, which is pretty awesome. You can
Yeah.
plug it right into the TV as well.
Yeah, but it is a portable console, especially with the Switch Lite, where you could just play it on the go. That's it. You can't
Yep.
plug it into the TV. So instead of lugging, like I have a Nintendo Switch case, instead of carrying around all of your games, well, they're all being here on the micro SD. So with that being said, with the Switch, I can make a case why it's a good thing. Because it really should be like a cell phone in that regard. You could just carry it and all your games are on there. So for the Switch, I can make a case. But like I said, I don't condone this type of behavior. I don't. It's ridiculous. Just make the freaking cartridge and call it a day. Any other words that you have for this subject, King?
So you think companies should give us a choice?
Yeah,
I agree.
for sure.
See, I thought you said we was going to argue today.
I don't know. We still got two other topics we might argue about.
All right, there you
Okay.
go. Topic number 1, agreed.
Okay. If anybody's keeping
By
score
the-
at home, that's what's going on.
By the way, do we know anything about when it may come out on the Switch, The Outer Worlds?
March 6th.
March 6th. All right. I'm getting it. Can't
March
wait.
6th? March 6th? It is. It's March 6th.
Even
Animal
though I've
Crossing's the 20th. So, yes, that's March 6th.
even though I've already played it on the PC, I do want to get it for the Switch.
Yeah, that I'm definitely buying it off the Switch. 110%. Already told the wife. I got that on the way. MLB The Show, March 17th. See, a lot of people are upset. We do have a lot of delays. We do. Cyberpunk was an April game. But for me personally, it's okay. I'm a huge sports fan. MLB The Show, that comes out. That's one of my favorite games, my favorite sports game right now. I'm going to love it. I'm going to be loving that game for a little bit. So I'm okay with Cyberpunk getting a delay. It is what it is. Don't stone me for that. Let's transition, King. What?
Unless we hear about Fallout 3 or New Vegas coming to the Switch, I'll get Outer Worlds. How's that?
Yeah, amen. Amen.
Amen.
Now, how come Fallout 3 isn't on the Switch? We don't know. It should be already.
I was segueing into Fallout. So Fallout 76?
Yeah.
A failure. There's your segue.
Is it? Do you think we can make a case that 76 is a failure?
I think that's a good question. I think a case can be made because it is, I believe, the lowest selling game for Bethesda Game Studios. Even though it is not a Maryland studio, even though of course it's the first game from Austin Studio, but it is the lowest selling game. Am I not correct
It
in
is,
saying that?
yeah. It's a BGS game.
Yep.
Let's just call it like it is.
Yep.
It's a BGS game, and compared to the sales of Fallout 4, compared to the sales of Skyrim the past 9 years,
Yeah. Of
every
the
new
modern era,
every
of the
new
modern
iteration.
era, it's the lowest sales figures of the modern era.
Yeah,
So, with that said, of course, you can make a uh, argument that it is a failure. Also, with all the bad press, you can make a argument. However, let me give you the good side. It does have a pretty good fan base, and when I say pretty good, uh, it has a bigger following than most people would think.
yeah.
I just covered this on the Kingcast, and the numbers are pretty staggering, really.
Mm,
And they are growing, Joe. This is what is really amazing. Did you know they have grown just on the PS4? Just on the PS4, they grew almost by 100,000 members in 1 month on the PS4.
wow, that's
Yeah,
incredible.
that is incredible. And but the neat thing is they have grown from the beginning, from the launch until now, consistently. You know, I would have thought with all of the turmoil and everything that Fallout 76 has gone through, that the numbers of the players of Fallout 76 would have gone up and down and sideways and everywhere else. But the numbers of the game have consistently grown. They've consistently gotten more and more and more players. They spiked a little bit around when Nuclear Winter came out, but they've consistently gotten more and more players. The fan base has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger since it's come out, which is really amazing. So, with that said, it is a growing fan base, so you cannot call it a failure yet, especially with Wastelanders about to come out and with this game slated to run maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe up to 10 years. No,
Yeah.
you can't call it a
Let
failure.
let me let's now I'm gonna be what we call a king, angel's advocate.
Yes,
For the
because
record,
we don't call it the other one, right?
for the record, I have a lot of hours in 76. A lot.
Yes,
A so to say that I don't like the game, well I would be lying. I
correct.
actually enjoy it. I would go as far as to say that I love the game. Now, a friend of mine who played Fallout 3 and he played Fallout 4 and he played 76. His favorite Fallout game is 76. He's not a huge fan of single player games. He's more of a fan of online games and playing with other people. So, with that being said, is 76 an online game? Of course it is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is Fallout 76 a failure? Partly it is, and I'll tell you why. Fallout 76 failed with its fans. It failed with the fan that loves single player games. People, as soon as we saw these leaks on Reddit, as soon as we heard a report from Jason Schreier that this is going to be a Rust clone, that it's going to be like DayZ, people have been so negative towards 76. Then you have that E3 conference with Todd Howard, and people were even more negative towards this game. Nobody,
Do you
I honestly
so
think,
you think they failed marketing wise
I think
first?
they failed. They failed their hardcore fan base. They feel that hardcore BGS fan, and that hardcore BGS fan doesn't want to pick up 76 naturally because it is an online game and not a single player game. Now, let's flip it. I feel 76 wasn't a failure in this regard. There's people like you and there's people like me that have played the game, that endorse the game, that enjoy the game, that love the game. And there's more people that hate it than love it. That's just a fact, Jack. I don't care what anybody has to say. It's a fact. But that hardcore fan base, it was so cool to hate 76. It almost became uncool. And now the cool thing is to like the game. And it has such a hardcore fan base. And that's why the game, I don't know if you would call it thriving, but I see it on Twitter all the time. Just the hardcore fans that absolutely love this game, that are willing to spend money on Fallout First, that are willing to spend money on Adams, that just absolutely
The
love
ones
this
that
game.
love it. Yeah.
And you either hate this game or you love it. But the ones who love it, they love it. And they're willing to put more money into this game than what they did at launch, just buying it for $60 or $200, however much money you spent on this game at release. People who love it. And I feel that's where 76 is successful, because it was so cool to hate this game. It was almost starting to become lame because that was the cool thing. And it's like, hey, that's not so cool anymore. How about we give this game a shot and try to enjoy it? And when you give up the fact that the bugs, the glitches, T-posing, all that fun stuff, Fallout 4 had that too. I have actually a video on my channel of Fallout 4. I had McCready as my follower, and he's T-posing.
Every Fallout game has.
What? It's like, come on, and it's an online game. It is what it is. Might be a little bit buggy, but if you're making that just overshadow your experience, it's ridiculous. Fallout 76, you could argue that it was a failure towards its hardcore fan base, but then 76 created its own hardcore fan base on its own. On its own.
Yeah.
So was it a failure? You could make arguments for why it is and why it isn't. Yeah. It like I said, it became so cool to hate the game that it just became lame, and then the cool thing was to like the game. And that's just my opinion on it.
There is no doubt it had its failing moments. Marketing, no doubt. I agree with you 100%. The way they did the beta, we could do a whole podcast on the way they messed up the beta. That was terrible. The way we waited all summer long, they should have had the beta all summer long. Why they didn't, that was crazy. They could have been fixing the game all summer long. Y'all, you want to have a podcast? That'd be another good Bethesda rant right there.
Yeah.
I think that's an ultimate fail. I don't think really they released the game too soon. I think they released the beta way too late. But anyway.
Great point, by the way.
Yeah.
Great point.
Thank you. Every once in a while I have one.
Yeah, go on.
But again, whether this game is an ultimate failure, I think time is still out on that. I agree that it has some really good hardcore fans, and I'm one of them. So I have a very hard time of saying of stepping back and being objective here. But this game has a long way to go before you can just say it's just absolutely lost. I think it's got a long way to an online game has such a lifespan. It's such a different animal than a single player game.
Yeah.
A single player game is made, within that first month, and everybody knows, and that's not how a multiplayer game works at all.
It's
a multiplayer game is ever changing and ever evolving. This game is totally different animal today than it was when it came out. Totally different. And it's about to be completely different, though I can't talk about it in just a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
I agree with everything that you said, King. it's unfair to compare this game to Fallout 4. I've said this a lot. It's unfair to compare it to Fallout 4, Skyrim, any of the even older, Fallout 3, New Vegas. It's unfair. It's an online game. The closest thing to it is ESO, but even at that, it's unfair. You can't say that this game is a failure until Wastelanders comes out. You can't say this game is a success until Wastelanders comes out. It's going to be huge for the game. They're changing the game.
Somebody made a really good point about ESO did not become the success it is today, I believe, until Morrowind came out. And that was well within the lifespan of ESO.
Back in 2014, when that game first came out, everybody thrashed that game and said that it stunk.
Oh,
nobody liked that game.
I was there on launch. Don't get me started.
Yeah, nobody liked that game, King.
I was there on day one. It was pretty rough.
No one liked it. So, and now look where it is.
Yeah,
it's different now.
It's the top MMO in the world, but it did not hit that until Morrowind, and that was what. And I don't want to get the years wrong, but it was several years into the process of ESO. So I think that's point number 2, Joe, and I think we agreed again.
I think, I think so too. Now, right now, I want to talk about something that's a little more serious.
Well, I disagree with you, whatever it is.
I don't. If you disagree, King, there's something wrong with you.
Oh no, we're gonna agree again, I guess.
Our Patreons, they help us a lot, and recently I've been incredibly blessed by a couple people, and it means the world to us, to me. So, if you're out there and you're a patron, thank you very, very, very much. It means the world. Even if it's just $1, it means the world. If you guys would like to check out my Patreon, the link to that will be down in the description below. As well as King Fanman's, of course, his Patreon will be down in the description below. Without Patreon, it makes YouTube a bit harder to do. And with it, obviously, what we'll do, it makes it a lot easier. So, like I've said, you guys don't have to donate a dime to me, but every dollar counts. And I just want to say thank you for those who do. And thank you for just being a subscriber to the channel. You don't have to be a patron. Thank you for being a subscriber. It means a lot. King, anything that you want to say on it?
I do agree with you 100%. I was just teasing. On my Patreon, y'all check it out. I've got some free posts over there you can go check out. I've got some that just the Patreons can check out. But please go check it out. We'd love to, and I just want to thank my Patreons very much. Absolutely.
I also have an exclusive podcast on there now, so that's kind of cool. So, King, let's transition. We're running out of time here.
Yes.
But let's transition really quick. Maybe we could save this for another episode. So let's hype this up.
Okay.
Starfield.
Yes.
What if it doesn't happen?
What if it doesn't happen this year? We've had that happen before. We've had it yanked out from under us before when we thought it was coming. Yeah. Oh, goodness.
How many people do you think it would upset? Now, the thing is, at that point, I don't think anybody has the right to be upset if Starfield doesn't happen.
No.
We have no right, because do you know why? It hasn't come from the mouths of Bethesda themselves, from BGS to themselves. Listen, way back when we were getting leaks after leak when it came to Fallout 4. Leak after. I remember the Fallout 4 scripts that were on Reddit just leaked. You saw the protagonist there, and it said that he was frozen and all that stuff. Pete Hines said that you have to wait to hear from us. He said something like that.
If you haven't heard it from Bethesda,
yes,
you haven't really heard it.
Amen. Something like that. Something of that nature. And he's totally right. And that's what I think is going to be the thing with Starfield.
But
we're all anticipating it. We're all thinking that it's coming out. but we really haven't heard it from the horse's mouth. So
No.
for us to be upset that it doesn't happen,
Yeah.
that's silly because we kind of have no right now
No.
to be upset for something that we're just speculating on, and we're honestly creating that possibility.
We're
That's
creating
what
the
we're
hype.
doing.
Yeah. But we haven't heard any leaks either. Is that telling us something maybe? I mean, we haven't heard.
2018, we had a lot of.
I
Yeah,
know, but
that's true.
there's
That's
not
true.
any there's I mean we're seeing some stuff, we're seeing the kind of smoke, like
Yeah,
they're making the trailers and this
the
kind of stuff,
trademarks
but
too. Yeah, we
yeah,
got
but
those.
but as far as the real tangible leaks, there hasn't been anything.
Are they eliminated? Are they gone? Maybe they. No one's leaking them anymore. Maybe they tighten that up.
That would be a great thing, but
You never know.
with a company that big, I don't see it. With that many new people working there, I just don't see them not leaking anything. But that'd be great.
Yeah, they. I would hope, but now, King, now you're making me a little sad.
Yeah, I know.
No, you just made me really sad that there could be a possibility. I was just trying to give some idea. Now you just made it more realistic. Why did you do that?
I know.
Why do you do that for? I don't appreciate it. Well, everyone, that's about time.
Yeah. On
That's
that
about-
sad note,
that's about
we're
all
gonna
we
end
got.
the podcast.
We thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to both of our channels. King's channel will be down in the description below, and mine, just hit that nice shiny red button if you haven't subbed yet. If you've listened this long, obviously you're subbed. But we thank you for watching. This was another episode of the Galaxy News Podcast. King, any last final words on this episode of the Galaxy News Podcast?
Starfield, I guess we'll see you in 2021.
Maybe. All right, everyone. We thank you all for watching. This is Joe and King Fan Man signing out.